Perspective is everything. Episode 3. What's up, fellas? How y'all feeling today, man?
What up, dude?
Feeling good, feeling right.
I feel great, man. I feel great.
That's always good to hear, bro.
Feel great.
Last episode, everything was kosher, man. A lot of feedback. We appreciate everybody that's supporting.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Actually, let me bring this a little closer to me real quick. But that's what's up, man. We'll continue to put up the good work. Y'all continue to support us.
Yeah.
It's all love.
All love. All love.
Episode 3, here we are, man. I'm going to go ahead and pop it off. You know what I mean? Look at this.
Man, you practiced it 3 times still, but
It's sad, man.
Interracial relationships.
Interracial relationships.
Oh, boy.
We've all experienced them.
Just going to assume? You're just going to assume you don't even know me like that.
Am I lying?
Okay, you got it.
I know what you mean on that. Yeah. Oh, it's going to get real today, man. Yeah, but no, seriously though, man. Lloyd, interracial relationships, bro. How you've experienced?
I definitely experienced it.
Yeah.
I was with a white woman for 2 years. We was living together. It was so different though, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like we both taught each other something different. What she learned from how she grew up and what I learned from how I grew up.
Well, I putting more than salt and pepper on food.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just playing.
No, say it with your chest next time.
Yeah, man. That's right.
Oh boy, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But it was good. I actually like it, and you know what I mean. It opened my mind to more possibilities because I love black women, but it's like once I got with a white girl, I was like, they ain't that bad. You love who you love. The color don't matter. That's what made me realize color really don't matter.
What was a conversation you had that was difficult in a relationship because of maybe the lack of perspective, because of y'all being on 2 opposite ends of the world?
All right, so you see, the thing is, when it comes to me, I don't really take everything personal. So she knows she can't say nigga because she white.
Mm-hmm.
So to break that barrier, I'll tell her to say nigga. I say, call me nigga.
I've done the same
Call
thing,
me
man.
a nigger.
The same thing.
Damn right, and she called me a nigga. I like that shit. Because
Yeah.
it breaks the barrier, so
Yeah.
we come closer.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? So she understands that I'm comfortable around you. You know what I'm saying? And
That's-
you don't hear me say nigga all the time.
That's funny. Parts of me is kind of like, y'all ever seen Key and Peele, the show?
Yeah.
Like a great sketch that just popped in my head is like you're dating a white girl, and you're getting revenge on white people. So to get revenge, you and that person that dating, you tell her to say the N-word, and you just beat her up for saying. That's the first thing that popped in my head was like that'd be a great sketch. But sorry, that's different. I don't know if I do that. I would say I full on dated. Yeah, yes I have. So I have dated. An interracial relationship accounts for across the board all interracial, but when people say that, then 9 times out of 10 they're talking about black and white.
Yeah.
Just so we're I don't want to feel like we're disregarding any other race. But for I think all of us were referring to white women because we're all black men. So for me, it was interesting. I've always had the perception of, I think every ethnicity should marry and build within theirs. Not saying they have to. That's just the way I think. That's always been my arc of it, right? It's just you should marry and build within your group of people.
Now explain that position though.
I'm not saying, again, you love who you love. So if you find somebody that you love that's outside of that, I'm not saying you have to marry somebody.
Yeah.
I just think it's for the betterment, especially for black people. I think it makes us all better when we build within our own community. I don't think we do enough of that. I don't think we make the effort to do that. I think we're quick to denounce our own community and go to the shiny little toy, whatever that may be. Or because we're having troubles over here, we tend to go over there to a separate community, whatever it may be. But 9 times out of 10, it's usually Caucasian and be like, okay, this makes sense. Or this is different, so I'm going to stick with this.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I concur with your sentiment, but when you say we are so quickly, I think you have to delve a little deeper into that. There has to be accountability across the board. And I was thinking about it. I was like, what would make the ties between the understanding of black men and black women better about supporting one another. I think everything starts there. Everything to me is a relationship thing. It's like somewhere there's been something that's lost in translation. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like when I think about wife, I have certain characteristics. In fact, now that, because we're on it, it's like the whole interracial thing. It's like, for me personally, my ideal preference is a black woman, right?
Lies.
I've had the hardest. Hold on, time out.
I'm sorry.
Real stuff, right? Peep game. I've had to tell. So my current girlfriend is Caucasian. Peep game.
Oh man.
We've had this conversation. In the ideal world, I'm with a black woman.
That's gotta hurt.
I couldn't imagine. I mean, it do.
What if she said, in the ideal world,
I would respect that.
You didn't even let me finish. In the ideal world, I wanted somebody taller. I was just saying, that's gotta hurt a little bit.
Nah, I didn't see that comment, but you're wrong for that, bro.
Bro, you're wrong for
I'm
that.
actually the average male height. So
No,
what are you
you're
talking
not.
about? Yes,
I'm
I am.
the average man, right? And I'm not tall. I'm sorry. Tell your spiel.
Nah. But yeah, it's like, but at the end of the day, you need a queen. I like that's how my mind operates on that level. It's like, you know, you have your preference, but if whatever if you're looking in this pond and you don't find that particular type of fish, you got to go to the next pond type deal. So then, when men and women need to have
You
that.
have to go to the next pond.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think so. I think people refuse to look within and see, hey, what have I potentially been doing wrong to either attract the wrong person or the reverse, not attract the right people that I want for me. Because I think that's when people fail to do the work. Okay. Right? People tend to go do something else because they think, oh, this group of people ain't working for me, instead of being like, hey, what am I doing?
I agree with you, but there has to be a fine line, because you also have to, your personal subjective truth has to mean something in your life. It's like, you can't just do what's going to satisfy others, because if it don't morally fit with you, and I'm the type to where I'm like, okay, I understand what you're saying. That's why I've done a lot of evaluation. I've been in several relationships, you know. I look at it like, I know myself well enough to know what constitutes as a good wife. Like, bottom line, it just so happens that
for you.
I mean, I don't.
For you.
Hold on. Let's be real.
No, for you. No, because everybody's what everybody requires is not consistent. What I require or what I would like for my wife is not going to be the same for what you want for yours.
I believe it's more consistent than what we would like to acknowledge. I think most people hide behind fear and they don't.
Name the 3 most important things for you. For a wife.
For a wife?
3 most important things.
All right, you put me on the spot here.
Or 2. You ain't got to be that many.
I will say the number one thing is submissiveness. And I don't mean that in the sense of just do whatever I say. I mean, be able to, your ego can't supersede mine, because I personally believe men are supposed to be the head of the household. Like, bottom line. That's a bottom line thing. If you can accept that, then you can build off of that. But if you don't even know who's supposed to really, like, it's like a final say-so type deal, that's where you run into trouble. If not in the beginning, then later down the line, because a lot of people don't want to admit this, but life is war. Like, even with your family, it's like y'all done come across several situations in which exterior forces are going to be, and it's like, if your man isn't strong enough to just acknowledge I'm the head, then what do you actually have? That's, you know.
I mean, all right. So 1, that's not in my top 5.
Facts.
It's not. I mean, it's important. It's in my top 10. It's probably a 6 man, but it's not in my top 5. Right?
Yeah.
And also, one can make the argument that maybe it's not in my top 5 because maybe my wife's naturally that. Maybe that's by the design. I'm sure it is, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? It's not something like, oh, I'm looking for that. You know what I mean? In any way, shape, or form.
Then one more. I mean, to me, that's just, then you're leaving it that's a coincidence. You're leaving it up to, you got to think about it, man. I think you're not being real here, because I don't think, you know, well, let me ask you, what would you rate the submissiveness of level of your wife? Like, on a 1 to 10 scale, because I don't think it's coincidence that you're with her. I doubt that, you know, I know the type of man that you are, not to throw your, but I'm like, I know you well enough to know.
Yeah. So,
you know,
I would say 1 to 10. I'd probably say she's like a solid 7, 8.
You know,
solid 7, 8.
And I could probably even work with that. The truth is, though, it's a lot of 2s and 3s running around, and nobody wants to admit that. Like, that's.
But the other argument is, there's a lot of 2s and 3s, but those 2s and 3s are dealing with men that aren't equipped to lead. So why should a 2 and 3 give a 7 or 8 to a man who might be a 1? Is that fair to the woman?
But it's the woman that's choosing the men. Because there's a lot of men that want to lead, but they always friend zone or tell them that they just too goddamn nice.
And that goes back to what I was saying earlier. Are men really doing the work or saying women aren't giving men the opportunity? I think women recognize the right men when it comes to leadership in all situations.
They don't.
They do, and that's why they put them in the friend zone.
I disagree with you. No. When it comes to leadership, I'm not talking about corniness.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about being corny. I'm not talking about being lame. I'm not talking about being a good guy. I'm talking about a true man that leads men or leads a group of people or can lead a family. That's different. Those are two different things. Being corny, being a lame, being whatever they say is not cool is one thing. Than being a guy who can lead. You know what I'm saying? It's two different, at least in my mind, those are two different avenues that are very clear. Sometimes they overlap, most times they don't. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about the guy that's in the room that you notice but you don't notice. He has a presence, but he's not corny. You know what I'm saying? But he ain't the cool guy. You know what I mean? Has a job, but it's not super extravagant, but he ain't poor. You know what I mean? Not necessarily average, but the middle of the road that might not be noticed, but gets noticed by that one particular woman. I would consider myself that. I'm neither one, in my opinion. I think the right women notice those people. I also think that there's a lack of men that understand what it is to be a leader and to be a man of, to be a leader of a household, to be a true man, because there's a lack of that, especially in the black community. How many of us know friends that had great father figures that led them to do great things? I don't know many. I'm one of the couple that I know. I'm his father, so whatever.
Yeah. I love you, Dad. Yeah.
I love you, Dad. But no, that's real though. For me, the only reason I have my default version of being a man is because I always say I'm doing the best impression of my own father, and I add my twist to it. It's not because I saw it somewhere or it's in a book. I got it from my father. That's me.
I will say this much though. You know your father through your perspective too. I think that's important because you don't know, like behind closed doors, there might be a savage in there somewhere. Like your father was once a boy, just like you were.
Yeah.
It's like people don't. My thing is, I'm not saying that's. I'm not. Once again, I want to be clear about this. I'm not saying submit to a fault, to a detriment. I think what I'm seeing is in our current environment, a lot of females don't have a respect for the masculine principle as a whole. I think a man does operate at his best when he's the best of both. Like, I could be strong and fiery, but at the same time, gentle, respectful, loving, nurturing, right? Women respect that about a man far less nowadays than they did in the past, right? So if you say, to me, it's like, it's one of the things, if it was up to us, like, I get it. Honestly, I put the fault on men because we tolerate a lot of bullshit nowadays. I think that's what it comes down to, if I'm being honest about it, man. And this just in the dynamic of, like, the whole, like, once again, the whole courting thing and the man versus female type shit. It's like, at the end of the day, you have to accept a certain truth. Once again, it goes back to me seeing a wife. It's like, I'm the head of it. If you could start there, that's just the start. But if you could start there, I think you could have something beautiful. But if you're not willing to make that your basis or foundation, then all you're doing is set yourself up for future destruction. Because I'm sorry, man, the nature of a woman is just that. It'll always be that. Nature of women as a whole. Through and through, you might find, it's just like little kids. Same thing, man. Look, there's some kids that are uber talented. They have extremely mature for their age, but at the end of the day, they're still kids. Women are still women, and men still should be men. And to me, I don't know. Am I making sense? You feeling what I'm saying?
I agree.
So I just operate from the standpoint of nature first, then nurture. So because I've been there, I've actually been. I'm far more. Like, I'm a simp at heart. On God, like I'm dead ass a simp at heart. And what's up?
Word? I ain't even know.
I keep it a buck. I'm a simp at heart, and you do that long enough, and you have what I call evaluated experience. You sit back and you be like, look, man, this whole romanticism has no place in a true long-term like you can be romantic, but that cannot be the
I wouldn't really call you a simp. I'll call you like a hopeless romantic.
one day to me it's one and the same, brother. Like
no, a simp just do everything they women tell them to
well,
do.
nah, yeah, I ain't never.
don't
Okay, I
believe
get what
my-
you're saying.
You feel what I'm
Fair
saying?
enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
You don't know Caitlin that well. Nah, I'm just playing. I would agree. Hope is romantic.
Peep
That's one of
game
those
though.
things.
I will say this: if my preference has always been black women, right? But the problem is black women don't like me.
We
Can
don't
y'all
believe
get-
you. You need more people.
Stop, bro. I'm telling you, bro. I'm about to
Hey,
let.
no. Listen, I'm joking. I don't know. I'm just making fun. 'Cause I'm making fun because it's what I do.
Yeah.
But I understand that.
Think about it though.
I can't think about it. I'm not you. I don't know.
No, not even that. Not even that. Let me ask y'all something. The what do for lack of culturally, what do quote unquote, by the way, I want to say this for the record, man. Black is not a race. White is not a race. I'm entertaining this because I know what we mean by that, but race is seeding. It's not, that's a corporate designation, black and white. But we, they done tricked America into kind of thinking everything's about black and white. That's not even real. But
Hey, I don't
subscribe.
subscribe to anything that he says.
I'm
Just
schooling
super
y'all.
clear.
I'm schooling y'all. But I will say this. What do y'all think? First of all, what do y'all think the difference is between being with a white woman and black woman? Like the difference in it fundamentally.
Culture. So for me, reason I'm big on it is because I always thought, I was like, when things happen, when like a Tamir Rice or any of those situations happen, and you have those conversations with your partner, an opposite race can't understand the way somebody who's from the same or an ethnicity would understand. That's just the reality. I don't care how many talks you have. I don't know how much you prep the person. I don't care what's going on. The real reality is there's certain levels of culture that they won't connect to or they can't connect to because they've never lived in that world. They've never been that person. I don't care how much that person may have lived in a trailer park or may have lived in the ghetto or may have said the N-word for half their life. They're not going to get treated the same. They don't have the same perspective. They don't have the same values. They don't have the same anything. Their world and our world's always going to be different. And there's always going to be a disconnect there. And for me as a black man, I feel like I can't live with that disconnect. You know,
That's interesting. I
can't
see.
live with that.
Maybe that's where our disconnect comes from because I ain't even gonna lie. Like as a black man, I'm weird. I'm weird.
Yeah.
Like that's the number one thing. Like so this is the best way to. I think I can simplify this. So my thoughts go beyond like a lot of the culture that I come from can't understand them. And black guys be like, he weird. Like, hell no. Ultimately, white girls love that shit. Not being binded by that culture, like to me, and maybe that's staying true to me, which is also probably the same reason. Once again, it goes back to, Lord, what do black women actually want? Kick it a buck.
Shit, it just all depends on the women though, the mindset that they have. But most of them, like most women, they want a leader figure. They want somebody that's gonna be able to provide the security. They say they want a good man, but we see what they always go for. But the problem with most black women is that they so combative. It's like, men, we just not about to be challenged by no female. It ain't gonna work out. You see, most of the times you see white women, they all friendly. That's why most men be gravitating to white women because they really friendly and we like that. They give us that feminine energy. Every time you ever went up
Does
to
that
a white,
mean anything to you?
you went up to a white woman, they
so
give you this. They talk soft, they talk gently.
They're
feminine,
polite, they don't-
polite, and just sexy. Black woman, what's good, nigga?
All right, so I disagree because I believe people treat you how you allow them to. That's real. So for me, anytime I've dealt with a woman who's stepped out of way as far as speaking to me a certain way or come at me crazy, whatever it may be, conversation, interactions, whatever, I immediately check it. Guess what? I don't have that problem again. If I have that problem again, I move on because clearly the communication that I gave you or that we had wasn't clear or we're not on the same page, and I move on to the next. I firmly believe if you set the tone in the beginning and don't allow that, what happens is men tend to allow it, think it's funny, and then when they mad and then they do the same thing, they're like, well, you talking to me crazy. Well, when the woman's like, well, I've been doing this since we met. You liked it when we was at the club, you was drunk, and then afterwards, you know what I'm saying? I think it starts there. You set the tone in the beginning, you got to worry about none of that.
And that's not just a woman thing. That's a human nature.
That is a human thing. But I think for men, I think we fail to set the tone in the beginning because we too focused on the draws.
You're definitely right. But I set the tone in the beginning because I
See, y'all making my point. This is why, like you just said, you feeling that type of vibe, I move on. Black men are moving on to a different pond, right? Probably have been for some time now. So I say everybody's going to the different pond. So hold on. So what I question is, how can we get back in the same? How can we get back in the same thing? Like what can unite?
Doing the work on both ends, because it's both ways sided. It's both sided. It's sided on women have to do the work, men have to do the work. It isn't just I'm gonna just go over here since hey they don't like me over here. That's in my version. That's what's the word? It's a little bit of I ain't gonna say coward, but it's kind of like giving up. Why are you giving up? Because you got one bad experience or a couple bad experiences. Did you evaluate what you doing or not doing?
Man, one bad experience with the wrong woman can rule. Nah, bro.
Listen, I hear you. But now you sound like a racist. Now let's say you grow up, you're a white kid.
I mean, to some extent. I mean,
Look,
look.
hold on. Like, you grow up, you're a white kid. Your only interaction with a black person is that somebody robs your family one time in your life. Now you think every black person's dangerous. That's the same concept that you're saying. It's like one bad experience.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It's better to live. I get what you're saying. It's a closed-mindedness to an effect, but it's also, to me, I consider it kind of intelligent. Like to me, the basis of being a smart human being is pattern recognition. I'm not saying you go into it thinking like this, but I'm not gonna be a fool and think that. So now, I'm gonna be honest with you. So I'll be like, if I check out, like, it's not just a black thing either, if I'm being honest about it. But if I see a woman and I see that her demeanor, her antics, her behavior matches that of somebody that can be low value, like, I'm going to project that is what she is. Like, I'm not going to try to look at this hood rat and be like, maybe she can be, Cinderella type deal. Like,
maybe I could change it. You can't change these females.
See that, and that's where that's a level of ignorance, in my opinion, because I'm not talking about hood rats. We have sophisticated women who have those same traits that you're already knocking off because they have similar traits, and you're not willing to do the work. And that's what I'm saying.
Not at all.
There are women like that.
But it's going to show. What we're talking about is just personal experiences with black women as a whole. I would never say, the thing is, it's not racist. It's just simply putting two and two together. It's like I would never sit and say.
But I'm not saying, when I say racist, I was talking about my analogy, not you as a person.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was. Nothing's absolute in life. Mm-hmm. So you're going to find kind people in this race, messed up people in this race, lazy people in this race. Nothing's across the board, man. What I'm saying is, if we're going to have the quote unquote black relationship conversation, I'm trying to find a common ground to where it's, because my biggest thing. So what did I say when you asked me? I said submissiveness. Mm-hmm. That's a big ass quality for me. If you don't have a woman that has the capacity to be submissive to a healthy level, to me, you don't even have a woman. And what I'm saying is, in my experience, y'all might feel differently, but it's like most black women are not that submissive. Do you understand?
Man, I agree.
You disagree? You agree? Talk to me.
I'll say this. I disagree because all the black women I know that are extremely strong-willed, strong mind, have their own mind, have been submissive to the right man. I disagree with you. I think it's a matter of who the man is on the other side. If a black woman is not submissive to you, it's because you ain't the right one. That's just real to me. I'm just being honest. And it's not necessarily wrong with you. It's just maybe you ain't the right one. And it's not necessarily to say you're a bad guy. Not saying you're a good guy. Not saying you need to be 100%. But a woman will be submissive to somebody they believe in.
Facts.
That they will follow. Point blank, period. You've met my wife. You know how her energy.
Yeah.
Right? It's not because I said anything different or because I'm doing anything different. You know what I'm saying? It's all off the strength of, one, my belief in God. And then two, she trusts in me because of my leadership starts there. Point blank, period. That's just me. They'll be submissive to the right person.
What we looking like?
12 seconds.
This was a whole episode, man. Y'all do us a favor. We appreciate the love. Lloyd, Lee, your boy KG. We're going to wrap it up, though, man. Y'all like and subscribe. Keep supporting us. It is what it is. We appreciate it, man.
All right.
We're out.